Is it 10:01? Good morning, everyone. It's 10:01. We're going to get the meeting started for May 30th, 2024 special session of Commissioners Court in the Polk County Regional Health Center, Suite A. So today what we're going to do is, number one, is to consider the approval of the order extending the declaration of disaster that was issued by Polk County Judge Sidney Murphy on April 29th, 2024, and approved by the court on May 3rd, 2024, related to the recent flooding, which, by the way, seems to not be able to stop. It needs to control itself. Yes, yes, sir. So at this time, we've had 436 FEMA registration, and TDM has reported that FEMA funds are already being awarded to the disaster impacted individuals in our area. So if I could, I would like to have a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Robertson, second Commissioner Dubose, to extend the declaration another 30 days. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 2, consider any and all necessary action regarding alternate funding for road and bridge commissioners for repairs to roads and bridges impacted by the recent flooding. As agreed at the emergency session on May 15th, we were going to work on a formula for pulling funds from the general fund balance to distribute to road and bridge commissioners based on the amount of damage in each precinct that is reimbursable to Polk County by FEMA. So this will allow for necessary repairs and reconstruction to go ahead and get started. And then the FEMA funds, when they do become available, will go into the general fund to reimburse the general fund. These funds can only be utilized for roads that are entirely within the county's jurisdiction. Any roads that are within city limits will only be reimbursable by FEMA to those cities, so we can't expend our funds to repair them. We did agree that we would establish a committee that would review the funding request, and the committee will only review it to make sure that the documentation is accurate, it makes sense, and will pass FEMA review. So at this time, I would like to, first of all, I asked Linda, she is willing to do it, and then we would like to have Nicole also, since she's procurement, and Kayla is our FEMA guru expert.
I don't know about that, but.
And also the Tim, our TDM representative, said he would be willing to look at some of those forms as well to make sure that they're accurate. So I would like to recommend that we definitely have the 3 county employees and that we ask Tim to sit in on it. That way we're not tying up our entire emergency management crew reviewing those forms. Motion, Commissioner Robertson.
We ain't worked out no formula yet.
No, I'm just saying the committee right now.
Okay, that's it, okay.
The formula is gonna be based on what the committee looks at and right? So Robertson.
We turned into Tatum and all that.
Yes. So Commissioner Robertson is recommending we accept those committee members.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Second.
I need a second, Commissioner Purvis. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now, what I would like to recommend to the court is that we pull $1 million out of our general fund. And that basically we take the total damages from all 4 of you all, and then we divide it percentage-wise based on damages that are FEMA eligible. Do you want to put a base on it? You say everybody starts at $20,000 and we go from there?
I got a question I need to ask first.
20,000 ain't gonna do that.
Well, $1 million isn't gonna do that. You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to come up with a formula. And so if what we wanna say is that nobody will get less than $100,000.
The question I had asked first.
Sure.
If I choose to think, hey, I think I can do this, then we keep having rain and I say I can't. Put that money there, that day, can I come back in 2 months from now or a month from now, get it if I need it at that time?
I
Or do I
think-
need to do it right now? If I'm gonna do it?
I think you do it right now, because you don't wanna put yourself in a jam for next year. You're still gonna have some projects that you wanna be able to roll over and move around, so why would you put yourself in a jam?
Let's just keep going. I
Yeah.
figured all this up, but my predecessor left me in good shape, hand me credit.
Well, and I'm not saying, you know, everybody got left is in good shape,
Yeah.
but everybody needs additional funds now, so that you can do repairs now. Okay,
And so
no,
what
I see,
happened?
I see the wheels turning over there.
I kinda like the formula we already have, you know, the way we divide our money, that's what we call fair.
Do the same way we do our budget.
But what if, okay, but, so what if someone comes in and they only have 15% of the roads that are FEMA eligible? Then they're gonna refund
I
the
don't
general
think we don't
fund?
have that problem. I mean, I just don't, we've got a list of them that we turned into TDM, and everything that we turn in supposedly is eligible.
Okay,
You know, according to the people that was riding around with us.
okay, so how much, do you know off the top of your head how
No,
much
we gave it,
damages?
we gave it to TDM, I didn't write it down.
Okay.
They got it all.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be here this morning.
So we got an estimated dollar amount of damage.
Okay, let's estimate it.
What is estimated? I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I can give that information to you.
Okay, well, all I need today is the formula. All I need to know today is the formula.
But I thought we was gonna
Mine
get
about
those
600,000,
numbers.
right at it.
Okay.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
Okay, so all I need to know today, I don't need to know the exact amount of damages. I need to know today how you wanna split the million. If you wanna split the million along the same pattern that we normally do road and bridge, then we can do that. The percentages.
I've already spent over $240,000 this month. You know, and that's just,
So we're-
that's not to fix anything.
So we're
That's
just
just to
being-
patch it up to get everybody home.
Yeah, that's just.
I mean, I hadn't fixed the problem yet. You know, and.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's pull the $1 million, split it along the road and bridge formula, the 26, 24, 23, whatever it is, formula. Because when we get to the end of this year and we get a good look at what other revenue or what other income comes in, then we may be able to repeat the same thing. Depending on what revenue comes in, or what we decide to do in terms of capital projections, you know, how we decide to move forward.
I guess the way I'm looking at it right now is
Everybody got
we
it.
need to replace what we've spent this last month. You know, and then
Figure it out from
you
there.
can figure out how to, you know, whatever your FEMA stuff is when we get to that point, you know, we're still going to have to fix it no matter whether FEMA helps us or not. But we can work that into our budget, you know, next
So
year.
this will get you somewhat repaired.
Yeah, this will get us back to where we can start working, we'll have money to start working toward fixing things. It's the way I'm looking at it. Now, everybody, there's 4 of us, there's 5 of us here, so everybody got their own opinion.
I'm just a tiebreaker.
So, now, it's up, you know, that's just what I've been thinking, so y'all tell me what y'all think.
Well, like you said, the formula that we use in the budget and stuff, I mean, what I've learned here, that sounds like maybe the way we need to go right now, start.
We all agree it's fair, you know. and
Yes. It's all been agreed upon in the past that it's
Yeah.
fair. So,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with the formula.
Okay.
I mean, I think all 4 of us have pretty much equal destruction.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, we don't, nobody really knows right now where we are on that.
Well,
And
I
that's
would
if
just
it
like to
went
get
right.
you all some money so that you can roll.
And we appreciate you, we're trying to figure out, we're trying to help you figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
So you give it to us.
Okay, so can I have a motion to pull $1 million from the general fund?
So moved.
And then
Second.
move forward. Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm gonna assume that's a no. Motion carries. Okay, and it'll be on the same formula. Okay, budget workshop.
I'm good. I don't have to do that now. I'm good with everything now.
You're gonna check out now.
Yeah.
Here you go. Okay. First of all, the first page on there is, our payroll history. That is the annual and average increases in wages and in health insurance. So if you go, the portion that's in the square is since I've been in office. So that 2015 was when we had that huge deficit. And then because of the IH revenue loss, you can see that right there, 2015, 2016. And we also had an increase in our health premiums of 7.71% at that time. So we didn't do any COLAs. In 2017, we did a 2.5% COLA for everybody. And then we had almost a 5% health premium increase, which the county absorbed. And then we also went in and put $500,000 into our retiree health trust fund. And that's what you were asking me about, Milt, about how we balance that. And so basically, for those of you that are new, what the county had done is they were doing a pay-as-you-go on the retiree health fund, which is fine as long as you only have 2 or 3 people retiring per year. But then it was starting to increase, and then all of a sudden you had to fund 15 or 20 people all at one whack, and so it was a huge hit that was happening. So we went ahead and made that healthy, or started moving forward to making that healthy. The other thing that was doing is it was also impacting our bond rating, because it appeared that we were not planning ahead, that we were not considering what some of these budget impacts would have, and so that was 2017. 2018, we did a COLA again, and that time we had almost a 9% health premium increase, and it went to almost $11,000 per year. We absorbed that. And then in 2019, again, we had a 2.5+ COLA increase, because that's when we did our study. And so the range for the increases amongst employees was from 2.91% to 16.48% based on the compensation study. And then we also that year had a 2.85% decrease in our health premium. 2020, we did 2.8% health premium increase, and this is when we were coming and trying to fill in the rest of the gaps that were left from our study, and then we did a 1-step increase for everybody that had 8 years of service or more. So we were trying to balance everything out to where your experienced employees were getting that additional bump, which we had not been able to do the year before. 2017, we had a 3.5% health premium decrease, and this was during COVID. So we held wages and the number of employees still. We didn't hire any new people. Then in 2022, we did a 5% COLA, plus we put 2.5% merit or discretionary money into every department. So you have the potential for someone to get basically 7.5% increase in 2022. 2023, we had a 10% COLA. We also had a 7.47 health premium increase, which took our health insurance to $11,014 per employee. And then in 2024, we did a 4% discretionary funding to each department for them to decide how they would distribute it. Now, what that means is that you may have had some people that did not get any discretionary monies from their elected official or department head, and then someone else may have gotten a two-step increase. Two-step is the maximum that our policy allows. In that same period of time, in 2023, we did a 5% increase for elected officials. Keep in mind that what we have to do is we have to publish elected officials' pay ahead of time. It has to go in the newspaper, there has to be a public notice of it. So in 2023, we did a 5%, and then 2024, we did a 0 for elected officials. And in that same period of time, the pay for employees was increased from 10 to 15%. So we do have some requests in here for elected officials for us to balance that out a little bit and get elected officials some additional funds. So the cost of living increases since 2015 have averaged about 2.25 per year. So that's not including the discretionary funds. The total personnel cost by fiscal year is included down there also for you to review. From 2018 to 2024, you've had basically a $600,000 increase, and we've gone from 272 full-time employees to 298. Any questions on any of that information? I know it's a lot to digest for you two, but this is for you to look at, review, think about.
Okay.
On the 26 additional employees that we have added, if I correctly, was there any particular place or were they spread out?
Most of them were pretty spread out.
That's curious.
I think last year we had 5 that we added to the sheriff's office, which would be from the 291 to the 298. 5 of them were in his department, and then others were things like Nicole got added. So we had, they were spread out, but we did have some additions.
I got a question.
Sure.
This number here in 2018, which is nearly $11,000, and
Mhm.
the number down here at 23 is 11,000.
Mhm.
So is that saying in this length of time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, that one employee is receiving $21,000 more?
No, that's your health premium
That's
increase,
health
just a
premium,
health
okay,
premium.
okay.
And so your health
What
premium.
it's costing the health
Yeah,
premium, gotcha.
per employee. So in 2018, our health premium increase, okay, we had an increase that took our health premiums to $10,852 per year.
Now we're 11,000.
And then in 2023, it went to $11,014 per year.
I got you.
And so what we've done is we've tried to absorb those. And that's part of why we're gonna discuss the health premiums, because what happens, and then now it's at 11,188. See, so it's gone up again. And so part of it is that or in 2024 it went up again. So part of it is that we need to take a look at that, because this is where some of our employees are saying that it's too expensive for them to pay for their spouse and children.
Yeah, $336.
Yes,
That length of time.
yes. And so that's part of why we asked TAC, last time they were here, we asked TAC to give us 2 other options, right? Because what we did in the past, is we actually got our employees to take a look at it, review it, and vote. And the court made the decision based on the information they got back from employees. So as soon as we get that information from TAC, then we're gonna provide it. We're scheduled for this afternoon to visit with our employees, and we're gonna give them the information. We will send it to you as well. We haven't received it yet, and we will send it to you as well, and then that way you can take a look at it also. Okay? Okay, any other questions on this? Okay. Go to the next one. This is personnel wage. So if you look at it, if you'll recall, we did the 2018, we did the compensation study, which was to balance our pay scale and make sure that all county positions were fairly compensated and competitive. And then SB 22 arrived and we applied for that for the sheriff's office. And so that kind of wiped out the balance that we had within the county. So we created a different pay scale for the SB 22. And so if you look at the top, you have 108 through 115, and that's our regular pay scale groups. And we didn't put every single group up there, okay? But these are for comparison purposes. And then we put 211 and 215, which are the pay groups that were created because those pay groups had monies added to them. And so you had each step in pay group 211 receives $5,800 more than the equivalent step, which is in pay group 111, which is where telecommunications operators are included. And then you have the other group that received additional funding was 213, and they received $3,400 more than the equivalent step in the 100 group. So what we would like for the court to consider is for us to find a way to level the 100 group pay scale. So benefits, if you look at them, each one, it lists the wages and then longevity at step 1. When there's no longevity included, then you see the benefits, which is their health insurance, retirement, so forth, and then the total. So if we compare 111 to 211, the compensation for 111 is $50,000, 286 total. And then in 211, it's $56,000, 911, almost 57,000. So then if you look at year 5, okay, assuming that they got increases, so if you look at year 5, which is when the longevity will be $1,000, right? So that's an additional compensation. So comparing the same two groups, if you look at their total, the 111 at year 5 will be at right under $55,000. The 211 at year 5 is a little over $61,000. At year 10, again, you look at the longevity at that point will be $2,000. Which takes the 111 pay group to 62, a little over $62,000. And the 211 pay group will be at almost 69. So this includes their health insurance, their retirement, assuming no change. Basically, this is for comparison purposes, right? Assuming no change in their or retirement rates. Okay, so pay groups 108, 110, 112, 211, and 215 are the most heavily populated pay groups. That's where we have a lot of employees, which is why we included these up here for the discussion. Pay group 108 includes assistant maintenance technicians and deputy clerks, which is judicial. Pay group 110 includes primarily court clerks and trial associates or legal secretaries. Pay group 112 includes primarily office managers and heavy equipment operators. Pay group 211 includes corrections officers who used to be on the same pay group as their telecommunication officers and warrant clerks at 111. Pay group 215 includes correction officers, shift supervisors, and deputy sheriffs, which used to be at the same pay level as the environmental enforcement officer, permits inspector, senior bailiff, special victims liaison, assistant to the commissioners, and the veteran service officers, and they were all at 115. So what I would like for the court to consider is for us to move forward with doing an increase in the 100 pay groups to try to bring all of our other county employees, including telecommunications officers and our environmental enforcement officer, permits, all of them, up closer so that we can start closing that gap. Now, that doesn't mean that I do not want to include also some discretionary funds for every department. Okay, but we have to bring the rest of our pay scale up. So, that's more food for thought. We won't be able to do it all at one time, but it is doable, but I think it's gonna take us 2 or 3 years. And again, we don't wanna take anything away from the sheriff's office and the jail. We will continue to put some additional discretionary funds in every department, but we're gonna have to level the playing field a little bit. Any questions on that information?
Not yet, but I will.
Okay. Okay, certificate pay. We had a request from the JPs, and actually this includes a question for Shalana. Shalana, with your deputy clerks, do they get an opportunity, or do they have educational opportunities where they can get certifications?
Yeah, with a few positions, yes.
Okay. So the JP clerks made the request, and we're gonna check with the county clerk, the district clerk, county court at law, check with everybody to see if they have clerks also that would qualify. So the JP clerks have continuing education and training, and they're tested on the knowledge in that field. So they have the opportunity of testing their knowledge on the civil side and the criminal side. And then for a master's certificate, which includes both the civil and the criminal. So similar to what the sheriff's office has with TCOL, we pay up to $1,800 for a master's for them. And so what we would like for the court to consider is for, not to the same degree, but for the certificate pay for clerks to be $200 per year for certificate levels. And so the maximum that they would be able to receive would be $600 a year for their, if they reach master's certificate level. I think any time that we educate our people and encourage them to improve themselves, then we're doing a good deed for our residents and for our services in the county. So
What's the certificate pay as far as on the law enforcement side?
$1,800 for a master's. So basically, on the law enforcement side, it's $600 per year per certificate. And so the max they can get is $1,800. The max that our clerks would be able to receive would be $600. Okay. Okay, the FY 2024 capital purchases update. We have not completed all the capital purchases for this budget year. To date, we have approved $336,450, and we have an additional $271,000, almost $272, that was approved on the capital purchase list, but we have not actually approved the actual purchases. We still have the EOC audio video upgrades, but with the recent flooding, the RFP for that was delayed. And at the end of April, we will have $525,000 in surplus depository interest in the general fund. And we would like to consider using this revenue to reimburse the general fund for the capital purchases. The audit, the FY 2023 audit was delayed beyond the legislated deadline, and that could potentially hurt our bond rating. If we do choose to issue debt, and also interest rates have gone up. So if we could wipe the capital purchases off, then that would leave us with zero interest to be paid this coming budget year. So that's something else for the court to consider. And then enterprise fleet update. We're looking at adding 6 new vehicles for next year and trading in 2. So this would add a little, not quite $75,000 to our lease payment budget. And the return of equity on the 2 trade-ins is conservatively estimated at $7,500. And we hope to, at this time, we don't have everything on the updated projected budget from enterprise, but we will have it on Thursday. Okay, the Fair Labor Standards Act. I'm assuming that none of you stepped forward and volunteered to be the ADA coordinator for me.
No ma'am.
You got it.
You beat us to the punch on that one.
Yeah, you took the fun out of it.
Okay, Fair Labor Standards Act changes. So the new salary threshold for exempt employees. On July 1, 2024, the minimum salary for an exempt employee will increase to $43,888,000, requiring all employees below pay group 117 to be classified as non-exempt. That's gonna change things a lot. On January 1st, 2025, the minimum will increase to $58,656, which will require all employees below pay group 221 to be classified as non-exempt. So effective January 1, 2025, the only employees that will be eligible will be the top law enforcement which will be the chief deputy sheriff, the captain, and the jail administrator, along with attorneys. Those are the only people that will be able to be exempt. If you took a look at.
What's the real difference between exempt and non-exempt?
Exempt are the people that they're not having to punch a time clock. They can come and go, yeah, they can come and go as they please. You don't have to really pay them overtime as long as they're within that range. But non-exempt, somebody has to track their time, pay attention, and they become eligible for time and a half.
And who would that be?
Everybody else. So that means that everybody,
Yeah, but you understand the employee, you understand that, punch.
every employee,
Yeah, everybody
everybody.
but the chief deputy and.
Sheriff and the judge. And the attorney.
well, the sheriff is an elected official.
Everybody else
He is
will punch a
non-exempt
clock.
anyway. But your chief deputy sheriff, captain and jail
Not
administrator.
elected official.
Right, yeah, no.
That would be-
Everybody else becomes,
Yes.
Punch,
yeah.
yeah.
Which means
I
that,
thought they already were.
Yeah.
Everybody in my office, you gotta be there on time.
everybody in my office better be there on
Well,
time
I mean,
too. But,
you know what I mean?
yeah, no, I understand.
I didn't know, I guess we had some salary people.
Well, what they are is salaried, and if they're salaried, they get that automatic paycheck no matter what. Okay, and then they can accumulate comp time if you so choose to track that. But what will happen now is they won't necessarily get that automatic salary every time. They become hourly.
Okay.
That's what told me often, no.
Yeah, no, they become
I'll have to be here
hourly.
on time and work, so.
Well, they become hourly, so if they work less than 40 hours, they get paid less than 40
Okay.
hours. If they work more, then they get paid for balances. There are obviously some errors that actually some of this overtime belongs in the emergency declaration, and so Fern's gonna double check it. But if we don't pay attention to that, then some of these departments will go broke before they get to the end of the year if they're not paying attention to that time and a half. Which is my understanding has happened before.
Well, that's their problem. They need to pay attention to what they're doing.
I'm just saying.
Extend everybody home for a while, they run out of money.
That's what they're
I
gonna
mean,
have to
you
do. That's what they're gonna have to do, and so that,
Them guys supposed to do their jobs, so, you know.
I'm not disagreeing. Just saying that that's one of the things that we're gonna have to really pay attention to, is that you can't have people accumulating all this overtime. Now, a lot of this, I think, is the emergency declaration, and so a lot of this will come off.
Okay, yeah,
Those people will still get paid for their time at time and a half, but it will come off of our cost. It'll go onto the emergency declaration. But that is one of the
So
things.
comp time's gone.
Not yet. This is July.
But I mean, that's what this is saying is,
Eventually it is.
there's no more comp time or anything.
No,
We'll figure out how to work it.
It's still, we would still accrue FLSA time like we are now. And we'd still have our policy that if, once you get over 80 hours, you know, anything at the end of the budget year that's over 80 hours has to get paid down to 80 hours.
They have,
Just everybody's gonna have time and a half.
So when they accrue 80 hours up here,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to send them home. Period.
I'll pay them overtime. Okay.
So what about like,
That's simple enough.
I mean,
Come
I
on,
have
for
several
you.
guys on here, but we've been
Not-
working 8 o'clock at night, just trying to keep people that can get in and out. Is that part of emergency?
Well, that's part of emergency. That's your emergency declaration.
Okay.
So it just needs to be documented correctly. That's all it amounts to. Don't you run Kayla off until she's through with my
Don't worry.
committee. No, this is just to give you all the heads up, that these are some of the things that are coming that we're gonna have to pay attention to. And that other elected officials are gonna have to pay attention to. That we're not gonna be able to pay on this overtime. Okay. Look at the last one, the request. So if you look at these, we have, we categorize them for you.
I ain't got no.
It was in your same packet that you were looking
Is that your
at. Right there,
request?
you're at it. Okay, so the new position request, that's your first category. So those are the new positions that are being requested. And the total for new positions being requested is over 850,000. That's a heck of an increase for payroll. And that's not counting the reclassifications. So then the next one shows you the reclassification request. And so the combined total is almost $922,000. So close to $1 million is being requested just in new positions and reclassifications. That's not counting any raises for anybody. So, we do have, we all knew that we were gonna have some changes at the county clerk's level, because now that the voting has moved over there, and they have increased activity in the judicial center, we also know that we have to do that in the district clerk. So if you look at the recommendations, the county clerk would like to go to a deputy clerk. Maintenance, instead of having an assistant maintenance tech, go to a full-time. It's difficult to have, or to add a full-time, assistant maintenance tech. Human resources, because of all these insurance changes, really needs a secretary to assist them. The district clerk needs a deputy clerk because of the increased activity. The district attorney needs a felony ADA. And so that's in there. What I did was, since last year, we increased the sheriff's office with 2 dispatchers, 2 deputies, and an animal control. At the same time, last year, we also had a request from the jail. So I went ahead and added the jail, corrections for the sheriff's office, and a CID officer. And then we also have a reclassification and maintenance from part-time to full-time. It's very difficult to find part-time labor, so you're better off doing a full-time position. And so that whittles down the total recommendation to a little over 545,000, which is approximately half. Some of the requests that we had, the position either did not qualify. We had one request for reclassification that would increase the entire package by over $18,000. And then we had some where it just simply didn't qualify as, the position. Keep in mind that we pay for the position. We don't pay for what you did in your past life. I do not get additional monies for being an LPC. Shelley does not get extra money for being a CPA. So I'm saying, we pay for the position, for the job. So, those are gonna be my recommendations when we go into the budget. We can certainly look at them and think about them, but keep in mind, for every position we add, then that means we're taking money away from being able to level the playing field for everybody, and from being able to put additional discretionary fund monies into those departments. Any questions on those? Again, this is food for thought, we're not voting right now.
Judge, that second one on mine, I thought that we had took out when we talked about in our budget meeting.
What we did was we took, we added the new position, right? We added the new position, we added the deputy clerk, because I believe your original request was not just a deputy clerk, but a 4-step increase, and we can't do a 4-step increase.
That's the one I'm talking about that I thought was being.
Yeah, well, it is.
Yeah, so we kept.
This is what you get.
We
Okay,
kept
I
the
got
chief
you. Okay, I
deputy,
got you.
and, right,
Yeah.
and we did a deputy clerk. So you keep your chief deputy, we give you the discretionary monies, right? But we can't do a 4-step increase, it has to be a 2-step. Okay. Okay, let's, if you look at that last page, it's just a short one. Has a projected budget scenario. Okay, you have, current projected budget, which is $21,822,836. The projected budget with recommendations is $22,368,131. The requested was $24,468,526. With the recommendation will be $24,092,040. And then if you look at the possibilities over here, a 2-step pay scale adjustment for pay groups 105 to 122, plus 2.5% discretionary for all departments, and then 10% for elected officials, takes us to $23,346,798. And a 2-step pay scale adjustment for pay groups 105 and through 122 with a 3% discretionary for all departments and 10% for elected officials takes us to $23,420,420. So that's what you need to be prepared to discuss.
Okay, now, the request, so when you drop down to this one down here, that takes all the requests out
No,
for
sir.
the 23 million.
It doesn't take all the requests out, it's the recommendations. It leaves the recommendations in,
Okay.
but it does not give one individual $18,475.
Okay, so that number leaves the recommendations in.
Yes, that's based on the recommendations.
Okay. Okay.
So that's still a sizable payroll increase,
Yes, ma'am.
right? See, that's still a sizable payroll increase that I think, because in our case, we have to pay attention to the whole picture. And I think if you do, and I'm comfortable with the 3% discretionary for all departments and the 10% for elected officials.
I don't think we should give ourselves a bigger raise than what we give our employees.
But that's unfortunately what we did last time, was then we turned around and gave employees a 10% increase and didn't give elected officials anything. The employees have gotten a 15% increase to elected officials 5. So this basically levels it out. And the request has come from several of our elected officials.
They knew what they got paid, they gonna get paid when they signed up.
Well, I guess you could say the same thing about employees too.
I agree with you.
I don't know if we need them elected officials, but we need them employees.
All right, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm just telling you, that's what you need to think
But
about.
we can't do it without them. I don't know, we'll think about it.
No, this is food for thought.
With all of it.
So,
They'll give you upset stomach.
Think about it, yeah.
everyone's gonna have indigestion. Okay, are there any questions over any of this?
Not yet.
Okay, if you have any questions, send me an email, just to me, so that I can gather the information for you and we can discuss it the next time. In terms of the submissions for damages, when do you all want to try to do that?
What now?
ASAP.
On what now?
On the damages to your roads? We're not gonna use it, we're not gonna use it in a formula, but,
We have to get with Courtney and get her to pull all that stuff we sent to them.
yeah.
So they told us, we didn't keep, them guys with us, they said, well, we got it, we'll send it to y'all.
Okay, well.
Well, that's what we
I'll-
said in the
yeah.
executive session over there too, that we
Yeah.
had it all with Tatum, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
they
so I'll
said
just
they would
give,
provide what we,
I'll give Tim a call then.
yeah.
They sent an email out with all that information
Okay,
Send one to me. It's got all of my stuff listed on
it's got everybody's stuff listed on it. All 4 precincts.
Maybe we just don't have to pull it up.
it. I believe it, so I
Maybe
didn't
you'll
get,
look
I
over your
ain't got no
email.
mail from Tim.
I will check
Came
on
from
that.
Tim.
Ma'am,
It came from Tim.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get it. But I'll look.
Okay.
I'm not a
Your name's
computer
on it.
expert either.
Your name's on it.
That don't mean I might seen and delete, didn't know who was doing it.
Probably about like that.
Okay, Commissioner
But I'll
Purvis.
sure look and I'll let you know.
Motion to
If
adjourn.
not, I'll forward
Oh, you
it
got one up,
Second.
to you. I'll
Not
forward
sure I
it
was
to you
ready
if you
for
don't
it.
have it.
Well, then you just don't got it yet.
I'll forward it to you if you don't have it.
Okay.
10:50, Judge.
Were you in favor of adjournment?
It already came from Cassidy and Dubose.
I don't know.
These the young ones are being renegades here. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.